Hey guys, this is John, and I'm playing ReaperMan in the 3-minute pool on ICC. So, ReaperMan, a guy I played before. Let's play the E3 Benko. Just curious who this dude is. Oh yeah, anonymous, not listed. He may not take on B5. He may play the lines with G6. So, last time I posted a 3-minute video, one of my subscribers said something very interesting, and I completely agree with him. He said, John, the reason why you're having trouble with 3-minute, this is my most difficult time control, for sure. He said, the reason why you're having trouble with 3-minute is because you're treating it more like a 5-minute game rather than a bullet game, which I think is good advice because with the clock, you got to lean more towards a bullet game rather than a 5-minute game, I think. Like treating this like a 5-minute game will just get you into time trouble every time. So, you know, I know you guys like the 5-minute games, but I still think the 3-minute are kind of interesting, and it's a challenge to me because I'm bad at this time control. So, not bad, but I have mediocre results compared to my 5-minute games. So that's what I'm trying to fix. Fortunately, here we're playing a line that I know. Usually they go bishop e7 now, and I can't take on g7 then because they have rook g8 and they can take g2. So at least I'm in something familiar, and I have a time edge. Yeah, it's the same thing. I don't want to take on g7, but I can do this move, and I'm threatening e4, trapping his bishop. So maybe that means he has to move his knight. I guess he just trapped his own bishop. Yeah, that takes care of that piece. We'll see if he plays on or not. I mean, if I take on d5, he does get maybe a nice little pawn duo in the center, c5 and d5. He does. He decides to play on. Okay, yeah, take. There's no sense in playing queen g4 because he had bishop g6. Okay, so if I throw in queen g4, threatening mate, f6 would be running into queen takes e6 check. So you don't mind taking time on a decision like this. Queen g4, what else can he play? He can play e5. He can do that. But still, though, I'll do it because I want to activate my queen, and he immediately pushes past. Probably bishop d2. Oh, no, now I'm going to run into f5. But that's okay. I think I see a response. f5, queen h3. If he takes, I can take on e6, and his knight hangs. So that was very nearly bad. But I am escaping now, I believe. And I didn't have to take too long to figure that out, so that was good. Okay, so knight g5 looks fine. Pre-move that. I'm threatening mate. If h6, I just bring my knight back to f3. No harm, no foul. Knight g4 might be annoying. Keeps my queen at bay. But we can line up on the e6 pawn, maybe in conjunction with bishop c4 somewhere. Like now bishop c4 would be interesting, but I think I like bishop f4 even better. That way, I don't allow him to get e5 in. Because if I can use the e5 square myself... Wait, how does that move work? Doesn't that just lose a pawn? I'm confused. Let's take it. Yeah, in 5-minute, you can afford to like think first and decide. And in 3-minute, oh, that's why he did it. That is sneaky. I was just going to say, 3-minute, you have to often move first and ask questions later. It's just the truth of it. Boy, that was a really nice tactical idea by him to get back in the game. His time is going to be a problem, but he just came up with a nice move. This is tricky. If c4, I can trade and then go queen e6 and win the pawn. That's still equal material, I suppose, but very tricky position. Okay, so he wants to trade, but he only wants to do it.
Check.
Let's take once. Give it a check. Let's at least annoy his rook. Let's just make sure these pawns can't move too much further, at least for now. We got to create counterplay with our own pawn. If we don't do that, then we're doomed to a passive position. You can play d2, but I have a7. C3 is possible, but I have G3 then. He has 1 second left. Okay, so that's a real good indication of how I would like to play. It's a good example of more optimal time management than I've displayed in the past. So that was a very nice sequence, though. At first, I thought E5 was just an outright blunder, but I completely didn't connect it to the queen takes B5 back rank ploy. Goes to show you the value of having a luft move thrown in somewhere. So let's take a look. So Benko Gambit, which I meet with E3. I like this line. And it transposes to one of the main lines of this variation. So after queen B6, knight F3, white just gives back the pawn and then plays A4, stabilizing the bishop. So E6 is common. So here, they should play bishop E7 directly. So that after, as I was saying, bishop takes G7 can be mapped by rook G8 and then go take the G2 pawn. Knight C6 I don't think is a good idea. That cuts down on their bishop's retreat. And after knight D2, it seems like they just didn't connect it to the fact that I wanted to play E4. Maybe they thought I was just trying to come to C4, or maybe they thought I was trying to play queen G4, but yeah, E4 is my primary plan. And they only have, what, 1 pawn for the piece, but they were able to make it difficult because of the central pawn mass. I mean, if I can neutralize like the C, D, and E pawns, like stall them, blockade them, render them useless, I win easily. Also the F pawn to some extent. You can see the F pawn gave me problems too. Queen G4 might be a little fancy. Let's check. Just knight D2. Because if D4, I have knight C4 in between move, allowing the bishop to come back. Like this would be an optimal setup for me if I blockade the pawns on 2 dark squares like that. Also restricts his dark square bishop. So queen G4, not bad. It's not going to hurt me, I suppose. I didn't see F5 though. That's the problem. I mean, I saw F5 here that it doesn't work because I made him, but I didn't see D4 followed by F5. So it was purely by luck that I had queen H3. Idea being that if he nets the piece, I take on E6. He responds to the check, and then I take on C6. So even though queen G4 works tactically, I still consider it a mistake because I didn't calculate the ramifications of it fully. So knight E5, I went knight G5, he played H6, knight F3. Knight G4 was irritating. And now, oh, I guess, okay, after E5, if I had just thrown in bishop C4,
check,
then I can safely take this pawn, right? Here, bishop takes, let's say. Bishop takes or knight takes, yeah. He might win B2, but this is decisive. Okay. So following the shoot first, ask questions later strategy, I played knight takes E5. He took. Okay, and even here, a move like queen B3 check, in between move, defending the bishop on B5 and rendering his only idea unsound. No queen takes B5 anymore. That would win easily. Instead, I took. Then he had this move. Now it's a whole new ball game. I played rook takes F5, which seems to be a mistake. But, okay, so this is like a typical scenario that in a blitz game can mean the difference between a loss and a full point sometimes. So I shouldn't slow down here to start trying to figure out the best possible defense, I don't think. Like, I looked up at the clock and saw that I had twice as much time as they did, and I knew that the position had turned around. So I think the worst thing I could do, and what I might have done in the past with worse time management, is try to find the best defensive move. I've just been surprised. I mean, in an over-the-board game, of course, you would take time right here, and you would try to regain your bearings and hopefully find a move like queen A3, which is a nice move to threaten to take on B5, defend B2, and also threaten C5. But in a 3-minute game, I think it's a mistake to do that. So I just took on F5, and even though I ended up in this tough position, it's still pretty tricky because there's some tactical subtleties. Like if he takes on A4, I can take here.
Check.
And I think I can pick up this undefended rook. Yeah, I give it check here.
Check.
And if he comes to E7 or F7, I have, well, F7 I have queen D7. King E7, what do I have? Okay, my rook just joins the attack.
Check.
Yeah. And at the very least, I'll pick up his rook or just mate him somehow. So So it's tricky, and he didn't have enough time to figure it out. He burned half his time on that move, queen c2.
Check.
And now it almost
Check.
doesn't matter. As long as I don't lose instantly, he's going to be down to 15 seconds, then 10 seconds, and then it's just, the moves don't even matter for white practically. So, yeah. Now he has 1 second. He's probably winning, but he has 1 second left. Not a minute, so. Alright, so I'm still going to keep playing these 3-minute games from time to time. I apologize to you guys who like the 5-minute games. I'm going to play those as well. I mean, I hope to play them with like equal frequency, but you know, part of the reason I have this channel is to continue challenging myself. And if I know that I'm just straight up bad in a certain time control, I want to figure out why that is and fix it. And right now, it's like been the 3-minute games that have been giving me trouble. So that's why I want to spend some time playing those and trying to rectify that. Because I want to be tight in all categories of time and all time controls. So, hope you guys are having a good weekend. I'll be back tomorrow with another Blitz game. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.